And with the havoc that I have brought, that brought the dark that's tested your heart,
We won't let you bring eternal night.
I must stop this light.
Without a fight.
No, get back! No!
age, it is time.
I mean, I have to stop shitposting and concentrate.
Yes, it means you have to stop shitposting and actually engage in the show.
Darn it.
Yeah.
It's ruining.
Okay.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's something's going on.
Something's happening.
Yeah, there's always something happening.
It's a little awkward when I just rebooted and I'm like, okay, I haven't brought
Yeah, and I don't
anything
even
up
think
yet.
you needed to. I think what the problem I was experiencing is entirely on my end.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's helpful. It's ever since I started using animes to use my VTube avatar. That stupid program is awful. It's got a terrible memory leak or something because I have to reboot every other time I use it anyway.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
should have gone with a 2D avatar instead of a 3D.
Oh, see, then you could have just like live 2D and stuff like that. It would be way easier.
I know. The person that I contracted didn't explain this to me very well. They just asked 3D or 2D. I was like, I don't know. 3D sounds better. It's more D.
Yeah, there's one more
You
D.
can always go for more Ds.
It's like with
I
cup
assume
size,
that
you either
means
have
it's
a
better.
double D or a triple D, you know? Like,
That's right. I assumed that was better. What I didn't realize was that most of the VTubers that I watch have 2D avatars. And
yeah.
I'm like, but it looks so good with like layered parts and pieces to it. I assumed those were 3D avatars. But the person didn't explain that to me, so
Yeah.
oh well.
They're just rendered really
You know.
well, and they've got a lot of angles, so it's almost like an old school sprite, but with more frames in
Yeah.
between.
So live and learn. The Marsupial 2.0 will be a 2D
Yeah.
avatar.
See, you would have understood this better if you had attended the Newgrounds Winter Festival and watched the VTuber panel that was there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I would.
But, you know, we're
Well,
rolling. Welcome to the
we learned.
Vomitorium, episode 156. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer, as I run on barely any internet, but we're going through. How you doing?
Yeah, well, it's weird because you sound fine to me.
Yeah, I'm sure it sounds fine to you. My ping on Discord is fine. That doesn't seem to be the issue at the moment.
Weird.
Yeah,
Wonder if it's just set to higher priority for some reason.
maybe. I mean, Discord's weird. Like, sometimes it is a great communication platform, and sometimes it decides it just wants to shit the bed for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we're rolling. And we got some things to talk about.
Well,
I know it was very disappointing because everyone, probably you included, was expecting more from this mini direct than what they actually got.
yeah, I mean the live looks cool as usual as it did before, but
Yeah. What's cool
other than
about it
that-
is that there's a playable demo for it that's out that has save transfer, so you can start the game and just pick back up where you left off as soon as you get it.
indeed, that's cool. But I did, before we get into that, I noticed an interesting thing that's probably going to make me mad eventually.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
It shouldn't take too long to discuss. Valve has apparently decided to downgrade the Steam Deck SSDs on some of their higher end models. And you don't know until you get it which version you're going to get.
That
So there's
is awful. I mean, are they at least going to compensate you, or is it going to cost the same no matter what?
That's a good question. I mean, I just saw this story. It says that it was initially specified it would be a PCI Express ×4 SSD, and now they're shipping some It just says some, not all, with a ×2. So the speed's going to be a lot slower. And yeah, apparently you don't know which one you're going to get until you get it.
Yeah,
and there's no difference
awful.
in price. So that sucks. Especially because I haven't gotten mine yet.
Yeah, you could randomly get that. You could be the one.
Yeah, apparently if you got it before May, you got the faster one. If you get it after May, you might get the slower one. That's weird. Would affect OS performance, loading times, game performance, and game responsiveness. No, wait a
That
minute,
doesn't sound good at all.
Is determines no. Okay, now they're claiming that there's no impact to performance. What?
Well, that's impossible, right? You could say like once you're in a loaded area, it's not going to impact because all of the memory is like the storage is already contacted. But like at the very least, it's going to have longer loading time to reach the data than it would have if you had the faster one. That's like, there's no way around that.
They claim that the performance will only be impacted for file transfers.
Yeah, okay.
That's everything.
Yeah, that's any time you hit a loading screen, that's a file transfer. That just you're gonna have longer loading screens. That's
yeah. They claim that loading times won't be affected, but
that's file. That's exactly file transfer. That's why loading screens exist.
Transferring the file from the drive to the memory, basically.
Yeah. To make games go faster, not every file needs to be active at the same time, so we compartmentalize things into rooms or sections so that you can load between them and only have those active files.
Yeah, it just says, so the initial story came out 7 hours ago, and it looks like 1 hour ago, Steam put out this claim that, no, it won't affect anything. I guess
Sounds
we'll
like
see.
a bunch of bullshit to me. That's what it sounds like.
I'm sure somebody will get both and do a test and see.
I mean, it might even only be marginal because even with the speed boost, right? There might only be like so much effect that you can actually see given the parameters we're dealing with, right? But even if it's marginal, that there is going to be an effect.
They should really give you like a $50 discount or something. Give you the cheaper one.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially because like I understand not all the price is the components, like with anything, because they have software and there's labor costs and stuff like that.
Well,
but you do have lesser components in there, so there should be some price drop somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, with hardware, with like consoles, it's mostly about the parts, isn't it?
It depends. These days, the operating system actually matters a lot more for consoles than they used to be. Because you're basically dealing with, like, technically all consoles are computers, but, like, the older ones are very primitive computers where most of the information is on the cartridge itself. And there's, like, a BIOS. That's all there is. There's not, like, an actual operating system on old, like, an NES or something. There's just, like, a BIOS on the motherboard that tells you to load the cartridge, and everything that you need is basically in there. But in the modern day, they're all basically just computers. Very simplified computers with a bare bones operating system that is actually necessary to run the game because all the games are optimized individually to the operating system. So, like, yeah, you could argue that a lot of the price is the OS as well as the, like, components. But no matter how much you argue what's worth more, which I would say is probably always the components with how powerful they're trying to make each console, there's got to be a price drop if there's a component change, no matter what. Even if it's like $5, $10 off, like, you're getting lesser components than what you were promised.
Yep. Oh, well, I guess we'll see what the fallout will be. Like I said, this came out just a few hours ago. So.
GMT says she'd take a free
you know-
dock and live with it.
Yeah, there you go. Give us a free dock.
Yeah, that's fine. Upgrade. Replace it with the dock, and then boom, that'll make up the difference.
Or better yet, give me a fucking Steam Deck. Can't even get one. Damn it.
Yeah, I think that's even the downgrades, like the least of the problems. You might not even get the downgraded model because they're having trouble getting it to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they say, I read something earlier this week that said they're like doubling the amount they're shipping. Still ain't gotten one. And it's like, I swear I reserved mine. Thought on day one, maybe.
It was
maybe
pretty
not.
early on, at least, like within the first week or so. Like, yeah.
And that was what, last November?
Yes.
October, November?
Yeah, it was last fall. It was pretty late last fall, but last fall. So, I'm waiting for a while now.
I guess it just goes to show you how many they sold, like in the first hour or day or whatever.
Oh yeah, people were like waiting there because remember there were people with like multiple accounts and stuff, and they were waiting just like to get it triggered the second it went live.
Yeah. I guess
Most of them
so.
scalpers. Just gonna go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Mine says expected availability July to September.
It's a big window.
Yeah.
And if I recall, the old expected time was sometime in the spring, so we've moved over an entire season at this point.
Yeah, I think originally they said Q1. So it's a whole, 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Well, the Steam Deck is looking more and more to be almost as much of a disappointment as we expected it to be. Like, it's kind of cool for the few people who can get it, but it had a lot of launch problems that they're still slowly fixing, and most people can't even get it. So, I mean, it's about what we expected.
Saw Ricky Berwick got one. Bastard.
Yeah. Oh,
He's probably better at games than I am. So.
that's kind of sad.
Have you seen him play Elden Ring? Oh my god.
I've seen him play games.
He's really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
But he's
Actually
really good
watched-
after overcoming physical hurdles, which is what makes it sad. It's
Yeah.
like, man, if he can get good at games.
Yeah, I actually watched Asmongold play the Game Boy version of Elden Ring. He was really good at it. I was like, he beat the first, he beat the Guardian
The
guy that's
Mountain
on the
Knight,
horse.
yeah, without like
Yeah.
dying. Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, that guy kicked ass.
And then he died to like two normal people immediately afterwards.
Oh, you saw that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
So,
I
yes,
started watching some of his stuff, mostly as research because you keep insisting on talking about it. I was like, well, I better at least know somewhat of what's going on. This guy seems to be a pretty big deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Nintendo, what?
GMT, I think mine's been
Direct.
moved back to Q1 just after the heat death of the universe.
Indeed.
Yeah. Nintendo Mini Direct. That's what you're moving on to?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Let's see. I do have a list of things. Where did I put that one? Here we go. We got a lot of announcements. One that's actually kind of cool-ish, I guess. And then the rest of everything was just A lot of like we're seeing this trend that we saw early in the Switch cycle, where it's like a lot of games that weren't on the Switch are finally coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
It was like
Portal.
half the yeah.
Who hasn't played Portal and Portal 2 before?
I have no clue. I would say people who don't play on PC, but it's been available on PlayStation for the longest time too. I know a lot of people who did their Portal runs on PlayStation, so it's like I really don't know.
Yeah, I can't even remember what else. I saw some people playing the Fire Emblem Warriors game. It looks kind of, I guess.
It's I don't know. I like Warriors games in general. Like, I enjoy them. We've talked about this before. One of the reasons I did not like, say, Age of Calamity as much is it was interesting because they included a lot of Zelda stuff, but it wasn't quite a Zelda game and it wasn't quite a Warriors game, so it wasn't like filling either of the things for me. I'm looking at this with Fire Emblem. It's like, well, thematically, the Warriors games are like big, basically one person versus an army. You might have a couple of other people. It's like you versus a horde, right? And you want to like put it into licensed properties that fit that theme. Zelda, you kind of can do it. Usually Link prefers like one-on-one, maybe at most like one-on-two fights or whatever. But thematically, the whole thing is him versus the world, right? So it kind of works. Fire Emblem, on the other hand, is a series where it's like armies versus armies, with a bunch of 1v1 skirmishes. Thematically, not really the franchise to put into like a Warriors game. As opposed to like probably the most successful Warriors games aren't even the Dynasty Warriors. It was the Gundam Warriors, which if you ever watch Gundam, it's the Mobile Suit Gundam just tearing through entire hordes of lesser mobile suits. So like that works. I really just don't see the appeal of Three Hopes. Other than I guess that like a lot of people liked Three Houses for some reason.
Yeah, I guess. I liked the story in Age of Calamity. But
Yeah, the story is fine.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as good. Well, I'll tell you why it wasn't quite as good as Hyrule Warriors. There just weren't. I spent most of my time in Hyrule Warriors in adventure mode.
Yeah.
Where you go through the map. And they didn't have that at all in Age of Calamity. If they would add that to Age of Calamity, I'd get more out of it.
Yeah.
Even though it's repetitive, it's still, there's a progression and it's you can collect, you collect fairies and you collect new weapons, and it's a completionist's dream.
Yeah. I get that.
So.
I think that's another thing, like thematically, games have to work with the Warriors setup. Because Warrior games, there's no exploration outside of like the field you're on, like the battlefield. Yeah. And it's really designed to be a storytelling mechanism, similar to like how old RPGs are, in which it is scene, battle, scene, battle, scene, battle. So you'll have like cutscenes telling a story, then there'll be like the big battlefield and you're doing whatever the mission is. Then there's more cutscenes telling the story than the big battlefield. And Hyrule Warriors did give you that adventure mode, but that's kind of like rare for the Warriors franchise. And in this case, it actually fits Fire Emblem really well, because Fire Emblem is actually kind of scene, battle, scene, battle, scene, battle. So it lines up with the storytelling function. It's just the actual gameplay is thematically off with the type of game that you're doing. And you have to think that like the original Warriors games was to tell the Romance of the Three Kingdoms story 13 times in a row.
The other thing that I noticed, like the original Hyrule Warriors was very centered around capturing bases.
Yes.
There'd be like 9 or 10 bases throughout the map, and you're trying to capture those, and as you do, sort of the tide would turn, and then the enemy would try to recapture them, and that would, and then you'd have to refocus on a different area of the map. Age of
Age of
Calamity
Calamity.
didn't do that
Yeah.
at all. It's like it had the bases, and it was cool that not all the bases were like a square, like in the original. Like some of them were bigger and smaller and different sizes and shapes. But like once you captured it, it's like, okay, then you move on to the next one. And that's it. Like almost never does the enemy recapture a base or do new bases open up. They just got rid of that entirely. And it just became kind of more mission based within the map. Which the original had missions too.
Yeah.
But it was also a matter of, turning this big red map, turning it blue. It's kind of satisfying. So I don't know. I guess they made it a bit more organic, more realistic, but at the cost of a mechanic that I really liked.
What would be a cool way to see Fire Emblem is if it turned into like a fighting game. That would be cool. Like with a series of like really quick 1v1s with your units where you actually had to put like fighting game inputs and stuff. And that would actually fit like the theme of Fire Emblem if you were trying to do something other than the normal gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, the boss battles are kind of like that.
Somewhat,
You have to use certain abilities at certain times just to counter. But it's kind of watered down.
Yeah. As opposed to like, if you're playing a normal Fire Emblem game, you can, build your units up. They can get stronger. But there's always the threat that like you could get crit by just a normal unit that happens to have like the rock, paper, scissors weapon that beats that unit. And you're like, shoot, this guy's almost dead. Like everyone's kind of a threat to you in Fire Emblem because it's supposed to be emulating like war and shit happens in war.
Yeah. Well, now I want to go play Hyrule Warriors some more. It's addictive.
Yeah.
Very addictive too.
Another cool thing about the Direct, though, is that Return to Monkey Island is actually heading to Nintendo Switch first as far as console releases go, before anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one I'm excited for. I can't wait to return to Monkey Island.
That's cool.
What's really cool about that too is if you go to the site right now, Return to Monkey Island's website, it is a playable adventure game. The site itself has been turned into a playable adventure game.
Neat. Oh yeah, look at that. They recently did like a remake of the original, right?
I think so, yeah.
Like a HD remake. I wonder if they used the same engine and do the sequel.
Maybe.
Huh. Yeah, the website, is it like a mini game, a mini version?
Yeah, it's just
something?
a single screen with a dialogue tree, but let's be real. This is the best part of the games anyways.
Yeah, right. So it looks like it's coming to Switch on, that doesn't say, this year. Sometime this year.
Yep. Right now, you can talk to your favorite greasy salesman, Stan, who has been locked up for marketing-related crimes. He was selling nothing fungible. Which I'm guessing is a little dig at NFTs these days. He was locked up for NFT sales, or the Monkey Island piratey equivalent of an NFT.
Mm-hmm. He was selling nothing.
Nothing fungible, at least.
Sounds about right. I never did understand the concept of buying NFTs. I just wanted to get into selling them.
Yeah. I just wanted to move money around so I could get more. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I never wanted to spend money. I figured the people who would actually spend money on that are idiots. But
yes,
I wanted to be selling them to the idiots.
Yeah, it's a little late for that now. I think.
I know the ship has sailed. I think.
Yeah, because more people are starting to get wise to it, and also like early on, it's new waters, unexplored territory. Now you start getting into the ethical problems of it.
Ethics. Once it's sold,
Yeah,
once I have your money, I wash my hands of it.
while I launder that money, that's where the washing comes in. Yeah,
I would have paid taxes
yeah.
if I had ever
Some.
sold any. Oh well. Now I'm getting back into cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Much less sketchy.
No, it's equally sketchy, but it's harder to see how sketchy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Games that are coming, right? Portal was on there. It's, Persona 5 is finally coming, which has actually been pissing a lot of people off. Not that they're finally getting Persona 5. I think people are happy about that. But it is a fully what's the term? Ported version of Persona 5. Like they made sure that it works on the Switch as is. And there's a couple other games like that too, like with Nier Automata, and they were able to get these games to work for the Switch, but then Square gave cloud versions of Kingdom Hearts. It's the Kingdom Hearts fans that are still pissed that Kingdom Hearts is just a cloud version. It's coming back up again, and I don't blame them, especially since like Nier is made by Square, so they managed to get one of their games working on there. Also, Persona 4 Golden and the portable version of Persona 3 are going to be on Switch as well. So you'll be able to play 3 through 5.
Is 5, that's the one that's been on PS5, right? Because I think I got it
Yes.
for free like a couple months ago. I haven't actually played it.
That's the one with Joker. Yeah.
I think it was one of the free games. But did you say the actual version is going to come to Switch?
It is,
Or
yeah.
cloud?
No, it's not cloud. It's the actual game, like on your Switch. You're not streaming it.
Okay.
It might be a little toned down compared to the PlayStation version, but it has been ported to the Switch. It's a stylized game anyway. It's not like you're really going to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Just waiting for that Switch Pro.
Yeah, you're going to keep waiting.
Yeah.
Dragon
what else?
Quest Treasures is also coming this December. Yeah.
You know what I think I kind of figured out with that game? Because we were kind of like saying, what is this game? Is it?
Yeah.
What is it? We weren't sure. I think so. I don't know if you ever played Dragon Quest Builders 2, but there's a mode, or there's sort of a late game or end game feature where you go to these different islands and you basically collect treasure from these different islands.
So this is like
And,
the Captain Toad of Dragon Quest
kinda,
Builders,
yeah.
where there's like a game inside the game, and now we just made a full game based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. I'm sure it's much expanded from that, but yeah, it seems like a treasure tracker kind of game,
Okay.
which maybe, I don't know, kind of along the lines of like almost like Pokemon Snap, or I can't really think of any other games that are analogous, but it looks interesting.
It's like, listen, we all heard how much you like the Triforce Gathering part of Wind Waker, so we made a whole game like that. See, but that's the
Right.
part they took out of the game. No, we know you want it.
Yeah, we took it out so we could put it into this game. I've been thinking about that though. Actually, that was the one part of the direct that got me thinking that it's what I'm a little worried about Dragon Quest, in that they seem to have worked themselves into a box.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember when Paper Mario, the Origami King came out, and they had all these rules where it was like, you can't come up with any new characters. You're not allowed. You can't you can't change any of the characters. You're not allowed to give, Toads a name or anything like, or a personality.
Which is ridiculous.
So
that was like the best part of the early Paper Mario games.
I know. They weren't allowed to innovate. So basically, they made all the final bosses like pencils and stapler and rubber bands and stupid stuff like that. People were saying, put all these like inflexible rules on it, and it's just, stifles it. I'm worried that Dragon Quest is going that same way, because it's great that there are aspects of the game that have barely changed from 1 to 11, and it's great that they respect their own legacy, but I'm worried that going forward they're going to be really limited, because this whole what was the name of this new game? Treasure Hunter.
Yeah, I think it's just Dragon Quest Treasures.
Yeah, like all the characters are all the same. Like it's like, oh, I recognize all those characters from Dragon Quest Builders and Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest 9 and Dragon Quest 8. Like they're all the same. And it's like, are they running out of ideas? Are they not allowed to innovate?
I don't know if that's the case. Because basically Hori has free reign over Dragon Quest, right? That was kind of part of like the deal with the merger of Square and Enix in the first place, is that like Dragon Quest was the big property. That's why you wanted to merge. So you're just going to let Hori run the show. And that's why Dragon Quest hasn't changed the entire time since like ever. So if there are any restrictions, they're self-imposed by Hori, who has the vision for Dragon Quest. If he puts any restrictions, he's the one putting it on other teams that might make these spin-off games while he's working on the main one. But like part of it might also be their partnership with Akira Toriyama, who is the guy who designs their characters. He might only call him in for the main games. So if you make a spin-off game, you just have to use what's already there for you to use.
Yeah. But I'm thinking more along the lines of Dragon Quest 12, which we haven't really seen any of.
Yeah.
And just wondering, like, it's funny that Square Enix has the two extremes. They have Final Fantasy, where every game is completely different.
Oh, God, yeah.
Very fast, different. And then Dragon Quest, where every game is very, very much the same. And I hope that they innovate a little bit with Dragon Quest. I hope Dragon Quest 12 has some real interesting changes. Just not.
I think it's probably going to have like
much.
At least maybe it's going to be closer to like an anti-hero arc. Like I don't think it's going to be that different from the previous games, but they said it's going to be darker and it's going to have a change of pace.
Yeah, is it gonna? I hate to being the big turn-based proponent. I hate to say it, but it's like, is the battle system gonna be the same old turn-based? Kafrizzle and whoosh and zap and boom and all the same stuff.
It damn well better be.
Yeah, I guess they made some changes, like in 11, they had some new spells that like when two characters could combine and make a new spell. So that was kind of neat.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to make this new, darker, edgier character absorb like energy from the enemy opponent and have like counter spells and attacks. That's a whole game just going to be.
Oh.
Right.
Slash
is going to be a counter slash and stuff like that. Like a draw system, yeah.
The draw and junction system.
Yeah.
Is that what they're going to do? Interesting.
And then everybody's going to throw a fit.
And they're going to have a mandatory card game that you have to play.
Yes. No, it's going to be jacks. They're going to make you play jacks to get through.
I see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm eager to see Dragon Quest 12 more than anything else.
Yeah. But what's also cool, so this was in the mini direct. I thought we haven't seen Mega Man Battle Network in a long time. It's kind of like a dead franchise. and they decided, hey, the Battle Network Legacy Collection that was announced for PC is coming to Switch as well. So that's really cool. I like Battle Network. I think it's a good series. It was confusing as fuck. Like, well, this isn't Mega Man. This is like, it's like plugging toys into networks and stuff like that. But it's its own thing. It's got its own identity. Maybe it would have been cooler if it didn't have Mega Man's name attached to it. Like, they just made all original characters. But I understand how companies are. It's like, it's easier to sell a franchise if it's got familiar things in it. And the show was kind of funny, so that's cool. And yeah, they're bringing that back. Maybe it means we'll get another Battle Network game in the future if it sells well. Who knows?
I guess I never played them.
Yeah. Do you know what the aspect to Battle Network is? Like, what it, like, the whole plot and everything?
No, not at all. You want to tell me?
Yeah. So it's in the like futuristic world where everybody's got like their little AI buddies, like their smartphone stuff, and it's basically they have I wouldn't say AI, synthetic intelligence. They actually have like a person inside their device that is like their assistant, their valet that can help them out with things, and everybody's got them. But much like how in normal Mega Man games and stuff, you've got like the evil Dr. Wily, who is like making every robot and stuff do bad things, and that's why you have to turn Rock into Rock Man. In this one, there are like viruses and stuff that's attacking everything, because everything's linked up. Your stove in your house is linked up to the network. Your car's linked up to the network. Your umbrella's probably linked up to the network. Everything's linked up. And this kid who happens to have Mega Man, that's his one that he gets. Basically, he and his friends are like jacking in their little valets to fight the viruses. And it's like there's this little virtual world that exists in there, and that's where most of the conflict and stuff takes place. And that's what you get in the show and the games. I think the games came first, and they were just popular, so they made the show after that. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun. There's a lot of like, it's very RPG aspects. Most of the game, it's like a grid. I think it's only 6x6. It's been a while since I've seen it. But basically, there's like a blue side, red side grid, and you move your characters to different positions so that like attacks affect them differently. It's very, very RPG heavy. Like a lot of people who've never played it would probably enjoy the game. They just like Mega Man Battle Network. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I never played that. Is that? Whenever I hear that name, though, it makes me think of the Mega Man game with the tank controls, where you turn and you walk and you turn and you fight. What is that? That's like Mega Man 64 or something.
I think so. I'm trying to remember which one that is. I know which one you're talking about too.
3D Mega Man. I don't know. Legends, it might be it.
Yeah, because there's three. There's two Mega Man Legends.
But you're telling me
that's
that's
the third one.
That's different.
Yeah. But this is not that. This is RPG basically. It's also known as Mega Man.exe. That's the his NetNavi. So if you like find a ROM for it, a lot of them are just Mega Man.exe. But here it was known as Battle Network.
Yeah.
Very fun franchise.
Cool.
I would say there's 6 of them, but there's actually more than 6, because after the second one, they started pulling the Pokemon thing. So like Network 3 is white and blue. Then don't know why white and blue, especially because like the 2 colors for Mega Man aren't even white and blue. It's like cyan and blue. Like I don't get that. But then it was like I haven't played in so long. There's probably like an in-game reason for it. But then there's Red Sun and Blue Moon. That makes a little bit more sense. Then there's Team Proto Man, Team Colonel. I remember why that made a lot of sense. And then there was Network 6 was Cyber Beast, Gregar, and Cyber Beast Falzar, which were like the big things. So like I just don't remember why it was white and blue. Like those names just don't make sense to me. I have to go back and play them and find out. It was a good series.
Well, already.
Yeah.
Eventually, everything will be on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's going to run for a decade, you'll have all the time in the world to get everything on there. Yep. They announced the next Mario Rabbids game because apparently people like those.
But it's DLC for the existing one, isn't it?
I think so. Yes. It's just called Sparks of Hope. That's like it was basically it's enough content to be its own game, but it's just like DLC.
It's kind of like the what was the Super Mario Bowser's Fury thing?
Yeah, with the 3D land, right? Like they did. Yeah. It was Super Mario 3D World, and then they had Bowser's Fury, which was basically its own game. It was built out of the same engine as 3D World, but they changed like the camera controls and everything. And it's funny because it looks like Bowser's Fury should have been an addition to Odyssey, right? Even like a lot of stuff, they give you like the boomerang. They change like the physics of the boomerang hat and everything like that, just to make it feel more Odyssey-like. But it's built out of the 3D World engine, and I don't know if that's because they were putting out 3D World again anyway, and it was just convenient to put it with the same game, or maybe they felt like Odyssey had just been sitting there for so long they didn't want to make DLC for that. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of like that.
I never played the Rabbids.
So the Rabbids games in general it's like XCOM, but Mario and Rabbids. That's basically the best way to look at it. It's just XCOM. In many ways, it is a better XCOM 2 than XCOM 2. At least a lot of people say that because XCOM 2 was kind of shit. But it's very kid friendly. It's easier, so that's the disappointing side for people looking for a challenge in that type of game setting. But a lot of people like it. It's actually probably the only good Rabbids games, because I tried playing those party games back then. They were shit. I'd rather have been playing Mario Party. It's like, oh, it's the only game where you can snowboard with your butt. Like, I don't care. I just don't.
Yeah.
Almost single-handedly ruined the Rayman series. And we thought we were going to, oh no, it's coming to ruin Mario too. Oh no, this game's fine.
I don't like snowboarding like that.
Have you tried Mega Man X Dive on Steam? No, I have not. I am familiar with it. It's part of the Mega Man X franchise, but I just have not tried the Steam version. A lot of those type of games when they get put onto PC, they have like horrible ports. Like, don't play Sonic Adventure 2 on Steam. Just don't.
What about Mega Man 11?
What about Mega Man 11?
Steam.
I haven't played the Steam version. I'm sure that's probably fine. Just side-scroll platformer. I don't know how you fucked that up. But like, dude, there's just some games just, they don't bother making a good port of them, you know?
Mega Man X Dive. Is this a mobile game?
Yeah.
It's free? Free?
Yeah. Here's even the worst part is, I don't even think that, freaking the mobile version of the game is probably any good, let alone the PC version.
Yeah. Well, it got mixed reviews.
Yeah.
But interesting. The very first review says, Capcom, can we please have Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection?
Yeah.
No, I
Well, they're
see.
getting it.
The second review says, this is not a normal Mega Man Rockman game. This is a gacha game that I will review as such. Of course it is. Because all free-to-play games have to be gacha games now.
Yeah, I don't get that, right? Because there used to be a strong
love their
free-to-play
reviews.
model that wasn't gacha, but it's just like, well, we can make more money off of gacha. Let's manipulate people.
Yeah. I remember back in 2015 at the Game Developer Conference, there were all these talks about monetizing mobile games. And everybody went to those talks and they took notes and they went back and they implemented them.
And now they're probably going to lose their ability to do any of that stuff with the UN possibly banning gacha games.
Yeah.
And if they do that, a bunch of other people are going to follow because they're a big market.
I have to go back to the ad model.
Yeah. I didn't mind the ad model, to be honest. I thought it was fine. It's like, okay, I'm paying for it with my attention. It's fine. You need to get your money from somewhere.
Ad revenue has just dropped through the floor. But yeah, I mean, I remember, I think I said on the show at one point, games that give you the option to watch an ad to get some sort of boost or something, I'll watch the ad. I'll be happy to. As long as it's optional. These games, a lot of these free games just show ad after ad after ad that you keep optional, that you can't skip and all that stuff. And I'm like, uninstall.
It's almost as bad as like
Delete.
hour and a half long tutorials.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to get to the game.
Yeah. But, yep. It's pretty pervasive gacha games or whatever. Yeah, there we go. Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Loot boxes are also getting hit by this new, I guess, a bill. I don't know what they call them in the UN, but a bill going around that's getting passed at the UN. It's gacha loot boxes, and there's like one other thing that falls in the headline, but they're trying to consider all of it gambling, and all of it needs to be out of the games. Except for maybe if there's a provision that the game is marketed as mature. And I thought, we came up with a good solution a while back. It's like, just make all gacha games rated M. Boom. If adults want to throw their money away on gambling, that's their prerogative. Just don't allow kids to do that,
Yeah. Of course, I also like the, the premium game model.
Oh, yeah. The premium model's great.
The good game, I will pay $60 for it. But I just don't want to pay anything. I lost my turn. Did I lose you?
I lost you. I think that's
you froze up.
from my end. Yeah. It's again, my bandwidth is shit tonight, so like I'm losing everything. But I heard you say, if the game's good, you're willing to pay $60 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There
I
was
don't
something else
hate
I wanted to
the
say about that.
freemium model where it's like there's a free version and then there's a premium version too. I think a game that actually does this very well is Final Fantasy XIV, where there's the free trial that you can play all the way through, and then if you actually want to get the rest of the experience, you just buy the game. Like stuff like that's fine. There used to be a lot of mobile games like that where it was like free to start is what Nintendo was calling it. Like Rumble World on the 3DS, where you could actually continue playing Rumble World, Pokemon Rumble World for like ever. I played it without spending a dime, but most of the core features you had to pay for. So when they were putting it on the store, they were very honest to you. It wasn't free to play. They called it free to start. And I think Mario Run was kind of in that same way too, where you could play through like the whole first level, but then you had to buy the rest of them.
Yeah, and I did. I actually ended up buying because it was really cheap.
Yeah,
to just
like
buy
$10
the whole
for
thing. It's like $10, $5. I don't remember.
I think it was
I
like
mean, you could
$9.99.
spend money on other things. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, hell, I was having fun with it at the time. The one thing I was going to say was that it's funny that um, it looks like, well, Diablo Immortal has been banned in China, but it has nothing to do with the monetization.
Is it to do with the spooky skeletons?
No.
Oh, okay. Because China doesn't like skeletons and other dead things.
Yeah, no.
Uh,
They were working on it. They were planning. I think they were like doing stuff like that, taking out whatever they needed to take out
yeah.
to get it to launch in China. And then one of their partners, social media managers, made a post somewhere making fun of Winnie the Pooh, making fun of Xi Jinping.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, no Diablo Immortal.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Oh, darn
You
it.
ran out of that market. Ooh. Such a
And what's
shame.
funny is I've seen people doing analyses saying that was where they were going to make all their money.
Yeah,
They're
probably.
like looking at compared to like gotcha games. They're saying, yeah, US they've apparently made maybe like 25 million so far, but in that same amount of time in China, they would have made 100 million. So they were getting ready to release it, and now it's up in the air. They might have to beg and plead. I don't know if they're going to do it.
Yeah, who knows?
It's funny that it had nothing to do with anything else. Just one like Twitter post or whatever
Well, I
the
don't
equivalent
think
of
China
Twitter.
themselves is close to banning gotcha or anything like that. Like, I do see it possible to happen, but only pressure from the rest of the market, right? Like, if the UN were to ban it, if then we come and ban it after them or whatever. If, like, most other markets did, China's not beyond market pressure, right?
Yeah.
I think they would also kind of just come in, do like a whole... why do I keep saying UN? EU is the one banning it, but they might do like a whole UN thing where it's like, oh well, everybody else is. We're gonna play ball because it just looked good for us to play ball. I think that's possible, but I think that's also the only way they would ban it because they don't care otherwise about gotcha. It's actually good for the country. They make a lot of money off of it because any spending towards those games, a cut of it has to go towards the Chinese market. And the Chinese market is controlled, so that just helps their economy.
Yep. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably all there is to say about that. So there are 2 other games. They actually announced 2 new games during this mini direct. And both of them seem to have something in common to a degree, where one of them I'm actually excited for. The other one seems like it's trying to appeal to normies, and I don't actually know how well it'll sell, given the company. So the one I don't care about is Disney Dreamlight Valley. I don't know if you saw that one, which seems to be a very Animal Crossing-like game from Disney. And I don't know. I don't know why people like this stuff. It's a free-to-play farm life simulator game. That just, Disney stuff.
Disney Dreamlight. Is that being produced by Square Enix?
I don't
Or Disney?
know. It's coming from Gameloft.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have to see more information. I don't know if it's part of the
Don't
deal
like-
because Disney's been doing a lot of stuff with Square, but...
Or is that the other game that you were going to mention?
The other game that I was going to mention is a Square game.
Oh, it's Harvestella?
Harvestella, yeah.
Oh, that's the Squaresoft one.
Yeah, that's
I
from Square.
missed the Disney one, I guess.
Yeah, so the Disney one is very, very Animal Crossing. You live on a farm. It's free to play. You have neighbors, but instead of people like Isabelle and KK Slider and stuff, you have people like Ariel, Buzz, Lightyear, Aladdin, stuff like that.
Oh, Isabel?
Well, of course not. It's not actually Animal Crossing.
What's it called again?
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
I totally missed this?
Yeah, it was like at the very end,
Oh, I probably tuned out by then.
probably.
Interesting.
But it'll have like, I don't know, every Disney cartoon character as a possible neighbor on your little farm life simulator.
Mm. Can we watch it? Oh,
We could try. I don't know how well it'll work today.
okay. Should we try?
I don't know. It'll probably stutter.
All right. Well, I won't worry about it. I'll just
Yeah.
watch it while we talk about it. Because I totally missed this. I must have turned it off or something.
Yeah. And it's going to be
I feel
free
like
to play. So,
Okay.
you know, talking about some of the stuff that we were
Oh.
just talking about. I don't actually know what their free to play model is. I'm going to assume, let's assume Disney stuff is probably going to have something akin to a battle pass but instead of a battle pass, it'll probably have something to do with the different neighbors and leveling them up and stuff. Maybe just taking a guess, a jank way of like leveling your campers in Pocket Camp.
Yeah. There's Moana. Looks like you're leveling up your base like in Dragon Quest Builders
Yeah.
almost. Oh, there's Anna and Elsa. Farming, fishing.
I gotta have fishing, of course.
Peach is gonna want to play this. She loves any game that has fishing.
Yeah, basically the way it looks like is like they took the Disney World theme park, deconstructed it, and took the pieces and reassembled it into an Animal Crossing like town.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
It's not real clear on what you can do. I guess you build the yeah. I guess it's like Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
build the town, you farm, you fish. What is it? What is the release date? September
Let's
6th.
see. Release date. Yeah,
September 6th.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Well, it looks very Disney. But you're right. It looks like you're basically in the Magic Kingdom. You're kind of building it like a town.
Yeah, and like everybody's houses are kind of like thematically to fit their movies and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you're kind of building your own little theme park.
Yeah.
Except
Does
more
it
like
Wreck-It
the way it was in my head is like it would be like a Disney theme park, but if it was in the Black Forest of Germany instead.
Yeah. There's lots of different environments.
I guarantee you they've been working on this since summer of last year.
Oh, it's got to be longer than that.
Maybe longer. Or what was it, 2020? I keep forgetting that we're in 2022 now. Summer of 2020, I think they've been working on this
Yeah.
after they saw just
Wow.
how successful Animal Crossing was. And they're like, oh, we need one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's cooking next.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that 2021 was even a year.
I know, right? Buy the vest. Gameloft didn't they do a lot of mobile like free-to-play games, right?
I don't know. Let me
Good.
look real quick. I've seen the game before, or the studio. Apparently, they are a French studio located out of Paris.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's look at their games. They do Asphalt, apparently, so racing. See, they did the Disney Magic Kingdoms game, so apparently they're already used to dealing with Disney assets. A lot of these do look like they're mobile games. You got March of Empires. Let's see. Gangstar, Modern Combat.
Looks like they've progressed into like almost AAA
Yeah.
studio, but I feel like they used to do. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
You might be. Apparently they helped work on Earthworm Jim back in 1994. They've been around for a while. Might have been the first time I saw their name. I'm familiar with the Asphalt series, though. I've played like the one of the ones on the DS or whatever, but it's an okay racing series.
They did a DS version of Assassin's Creed.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I must be thinking of a
just do a
different.
little of everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different studio that did mostly like. Maybe I'm thinking of Zynga. Zynga. I can't even say it.
Oh, Zynga. Yeah, Zynga it has done mostly like mobile games, or not only just that, but they'll do like
Facebook.
cheap PC games, like
Yeah.
Bejeweled style stuff.
I mean, they got started on Facebook, right?
I think
Like
so.
doing
Yeah.
Farmville.
Yeah.
For some reason, Game Loft reminds me of Zynga.
That's weird.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just have maybe their logos aren't even the same. I don't know. I bet you I
About
had
this
some.
game, right?
I probably had some mobile game at some point that they made where the logo would come up every time I opened the game. And that's
Probably.
how it got associated.
Yeah. But like, I don't
Oh.
know. What?
You know why?
Why?
Minion Rush.
Minion. Rush.
Fucking Minion Rush, which my kids love to play on my iPad, and I would play it, and that would bring up the Game Loft logo every
Okay.
fucking time.
What is
I
this
bet you
game?
that-
Like Lemmings, but with minions, or
It's a what do you call it? A runner, like a
like an auto
Like
runner,
the-
or
straight on. Yeah, one of those auto runners where you're
oh,
behind
okay,
the
like
character.
Temple Run or whatever.
Temple Run. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Minions version of Temple Run.
It doesn't sound as fun as what was going on in my head. I was imagining like Lemmings, but with minions.
No. Minion
That'd be a
Rush.
much better game.
Oh my god, I played that game so fucking much.
Like
It's
March
ridiculous.
of Minis would be I don't even like minions. I'd play like a March of Minis Lemming style game with minions.
That'd be
Like
cool.
somebody should make that game.
Yeah, they're all disposable. Yeah,
It's
that's
better than
probably it.
disposable, right? They can't be destroyed. So even if they fall off the cliff, it's like they could just recover them later, and you'd have the same ones. Like you don't even have to feel bad about them falling.
But I bet that's it. I bet you every time I open that game, the Game Loft logo would come up, and then I was like,
Probably.
oh, they just make stupid mini games. They're stupid, mobile games. Not realizing, oh yeah, they also do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
well.
this game apparently is going to be in Steam Early Access as well. That's
Huh.
that's the September 6th. So that's not even the actual launch date. That's Early Access.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you have to have purchased a Founders Pack.
Yeah. Which I find is weird. But apparently it's not just going to be Steam Early Access. It's going to be on all platforms. So they're going to attempt
That's
the
not
idea of
Steam.
early access on every single platform.
Yeah. But like only if you pay for it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Basically, you're just paying to
Okay.
be a beta tester. That's all it is.
Yeah. But if you wait till 2023, you can play it for free.
Yeah, this is why
After all the
I hate early access now. I like the concept because most people that were doing early access were basically like garage studios, you know? And it's like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
I get to help fund the game and beta test at the same time and stuff like that. Like you're almost like an investor. You're heavily invested. You're even giving them bug reports and stuff like that sometimes. But like then AAA studios and stuff started getting into early access, and I'm like, guys, go fuck yourself. You got plenty of money. You don't need this. You can pay people to like game test.
Yeah.
You don't need people to pay you to game test.
Speaking of which, did you hear the latest news, the controversy about Cyberpunk 2077?
No, I have not. What's the controversy?
Yeah, I'll have to pull up the name of it. Cyber- So, obviously, Cyberpunk 2077 came out. It was riddled with bugs and
Yeah.
horribly unfinished. Well, it turns out, according to a unknown whistleblower, the fault play with a third-party testing company that they hired to do the testing. And this company that also works with other AAA studios apparently had lost like all of their senior testers, and they put all these juniors on it who didn't know what they were doing, and were sending them terrible bug reports for just like stupid little things and not getting the bigger items. Basically, they just screwed them royally on the whole testing cycle.
Wow.
And there's a whole big like the guy who broke the story put up a YouTube video that has been gold watched, and it ended up in Forbes magazine and all over. Like people are like, "Oh wow, this." The whole story was that they just totally got screwed by this testing company. And let me see, Cyberpunk 2077's external QA team allegedly misled CD Projekt Red over its experience. So yeah, these confidential documents leaked, and let's see, it was this company called Quantic Lab, a Romania-based company called Quantic Lab, that totally fucked up the testing cycle, and it's big news now. And there's a rumor that Quantic Lab may be suing this YouTuber for breaking this story, and you know he of course is keeping his sources secret and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a YouTube channel called Upper Echelon Gamers that broke the story earlier this week or last week.
That does explain a lot, because I never thought Cyberpunk was going to be good, but not for the reasons that even the people who wanted to buy the game thought. I knew early on that they weren't going to put any of the actual like RPG mechanics or anything in the game. That's why like I don't care about this game. Mm-hmm. But typically, aside from all of the other valid complaints about the franchise and what CD Projekt Red was going to do with it, you also have the problem of normally their bug testing is pretty good. Like you go look at like some of their other games, look at like The Witcher 3 and stuff like that. Their whole game testing phase is usually pretty good. So how buggy it was a little out of character. That caught me off guard around launch. Like that explains a lot compared to normal.
Yeah. So basically, Quantic Lab's entire reputation has been destroyed in the last week.
I bet.
Apparently, they have worked with other big studios before and did a decent job in the past. But yeah, they're saying that like they totally lied in the contract, and they have these ridiculous NDAs with their employees that don't allow them to speak about any of this kind of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
If you just do a Google search for Cyberpunk and Quantic Lab or whatever, you'll find more information on it. I thought that was an interesting story that, of course, I got from Asmongold. He covers all the interesting stuff.
Yeah, see, because watching some clips from his and stuff, I've noticed like he is not a very good resource of, let's say, opinions that have like any merit to them. Like if you just want his gut feeling on something, it's fine. But he's not going to give you like anything more than that. But he does. He's got like his ear to the ground. If you're just trying to like compile things to go research yourself, he'll give you plenty of stuff to go look into.
Yeah, the key is he watches other YouTubers.
Yeah,
that have very interesting videos, and really, I'm watching him to find out that other interesting content.
Yeah.
From other.
He platforms it, I guess is a good word for it. Yeah.
He's like an aggregator
of
interesting game news from certain types of games.
Yeah.
So Harvestella.
Harvestella, which I don't know how to feel about it. It's interesting. To me, like a lot of people are comparing it to Stardew Valley, and I guess it's apt because it's just the game everybody knows now that is in that genre. Personally, from what I've seen, I would compare it more to Rune Factory.
So I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. And especially the combat-oriented features to it feel very, very Rune Factory, but with like modern Square stuff. And I think that's fine though, because that's what Square does is RPGs. So maybe they could even do that Rune Factory side of things better than Rune Factory has. Who knows? I'll have to definitely see more. But basically, the idea is it is that type of Harvest Moon, Rune Factory style game. It's like a farming life simulator. There's townsfolk that you can interact with. They're even saying that lets players farm, fight, and forge friendships. That's their slogan for this. And it's going to cover several seasons. But here's the twist. Normally you're used to 4 seasons, and what would be the season of death is the 4th, like winter. But no, they're going to have 5 seasons, where the 5th is the actual season of death. And not only are things withering, but that's where like more monsters and stuff comes out, and even your life might be in like danger and everything. So it's basically taking things up to the notch that Square usually takes things in that like Final Fantasy Accord. So that might be cool. I don't know.
It's got very interesting outfits.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching this girl do farming in this really elaborate, very Final Fantasy-esque outfit, and I'm like, that doesn't look like that would be good for farming in.
No, not at all. That looks like maybe in this world's equivalent of your Sunday vest, like you dressed up for church. You wouldn't wear that while you're farming.
You wouldn't think so. But yeah, it does look like the battle system looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And the farming looks better to me than Rune Factory.
Yes, it does. And I think this might be a very welcome thing. If Stardew Valley was giving us the Harvest Moon that we haven't been given in a while because of just the direction the story of seasons has decided to go. And then Square could give us the Rune Factory we haven't had because of the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't been all that impressed with Rune Factory 5.
No, I don't think
this
anybody
looks
was.
impressive. Yeah. This does look impressive. And the graphics, you know what's really cool? Like, it looks like you sort of go into this overworld mode.
Yeah.
To go between towns. And it has a very 2D, HD 2D look to it.
Yeah, that was
like,
the coolest part. Yeah.
Blurry around the edges, and yeah, that looks really cool.
In fact, sadly, like many of Square's other games that aren't named Final Fantasy, this seems more of what I'd kind of want from the company than the stuff they're giving me that has Final Fantasy in the title. So, like,
Yeah,
I might actually
cool.
get this. It does seem kind of cool. I was kind of like downplaying it at first when people were telling me about it. They're like, "Hey, you need to look into this." I'm like, "Why? This sounds dumb." And then I looked at it, it's like, "Okay, maybe you have a point."
Yeah. And then it goes into the sort of like dark mode or Season of Death. I was wondering because I saw they said something about Season of Death, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
It's like, is that just winter? That's like what people used to call winter, is like the death season. But no, this is actual 5th season of like
cool.
necromancers and shit like that. You know, like actual death.
Yeah, because like in typical games like this, winter isn't really that bad. Like in Stardew Valley, you can make the most money farming, winter seeds of almost anything else.
I mean, it's pretty bad in the old Harvest Moons, but you plan for it, right? Like you do other things in the winter than farming. Yeah. Maybe that's the time where you actually try to court even more and stuff like that. You make up for the winter time.
Yeah.
Or, like Stardew Valley doesn't really punish you in the winter.
Yeah, it does. It actually gives you more time to do the mines and to do the courting, but it actually gives you pretty awesome crops too in the winter.
Yeah. But this seems to have
Nearly.
winter and death. So that's cool. I like that. I don't know if their year is longer or maybe the seasons are just shorter. But apparently they have 5 seasons in the year. I wonder how that works. Like the ether or something has to be causing it, because you're trying to think like logically. Our seasons are caused from the tilt of the planet and it's a mix of its rotation and revolution around the sun. So, like, how I don't think a planet can do that to get 5. Maybe it's confusing me. Unless maybe it's like an off-center ellipse where it's like it's closer, kind of like some of our farther planets where it's closer to the sun at one part of the year and even further away. I don't know. Maybe it's got like a really jank angle.
Maybe the planet goes into another dimension temporarily. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
It looks very different. The sky is all darker and
Maybe the
weird
sun
and
has
kind of
cycles that involve the season.
yeah.
Like very weird. Like it just blinks for no reason. You know. Once a year the sun blinks. That sounds scary. You might want to fix that.
It's very weird. But yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, the graphics look amazing. Is it Switch only? Switch and PC?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't even know which version I'll get.
That's a good question. I mean, I'll probably get it on Switch. It looks great.
Yeah. I even like it, the interactions during like this death season. You have a child is like, sorry, mommy said I'm not to open the door. And I'm thinking like, well, if there are horrible monsters and stuff outside, it's probably a good thing. Like you should probably listen to your mommy there.
Yeah, exactly.
That reminds me of like playing Bloodborne, right? While the hunt's going on and you're a hunter and you're trying to talk to people and they're like, oh no, go away. Because they think you're a monster. Like, oh, you're a hunter. Okay, I'll talk to you through the window.
Yeah. Yeah. It does look good.
Looks a hell of a lot more exciting than the Disney game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't really have any desire to interact with Disney characters these days.
I know. Like, maybe if this was like a decade or so ago, I don't. But now, no. If you made this like you ripped off Animal Crossing Wild World back in the aughts with a Disney game, maybe I would have tried it. It'd be like, I really like Wild World. I could use even more of an Animal Crossing fix. Let's go. But now I'll just play Animal Crossing. I don't want to. I don't even like these Disney characters anymore. Even the ones I liked, you ruined them for me.
And the fact that it's free to play is really disconcerting.
I'd rather just pay for a premium one, like right off the bat.
Yeah, is it going to be a gacha game? I mean, what is this? I'd rather, like Animal Crossing.
I don't know if it's going to be gacha.
Pay for it.
Right. I think they might, I'm thinking it's going to be something akin to like the Battle Pass, which Disney has been doing with a lot of its game. But since it's not a battle game, they'll have some other thing. And like I said, my intuition before seeing anything about the game is that you're going to have to like level your relationship with the characters. So that's going to be where the battle pass type mechanic's going to be in it. It's going to be like the limits in Pocket Camp on how much you can level your campers and stuff. That's where my intuition goes. I could be utterly wrong. They could even have like some other type of gacha, but I don't think that's going to involve the villagers, because I think that would just make the game completely unplayable, even from a free-to-play stance. Mm-hmm. My intuition is something akin to a battle pass.
Guess we'll see.
Which, if that is the case, that means most of the content, like your housing stuff, costumes, like the clothing you'd wear, the furniture in your house and stuff, would probably be locked behind the battle pass, to where only some of it's available for free as you level up, and the rest of it is you're gonna have to pay for it to get the really good stuff for your house and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's so fun.
Yeah. This, on the other hand, knowing Square, I bet this game is probably just going to be complete, other than maybe DLC. I bet like Harvestella is going to be like buying Octopath or Bravely Default. You're just going to buy the game and you have the game. And you know what? Yes, please. That's what I want. That's all I want from my games for the most part.
I want to buy the game and have the game.
If you give me DLC that's like after the fact, sure, I'll probably buy that too.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear Stardew Valley's getting yet another update?
I did. I was actually laughing. Me and my brother were walking down the road, and he was talking about it. Like, yeah, you know, now that Concerned Apes has stopped updating Stardew Valley, like, you think he's finally stopped? Because I don't think so. He's like, what do you mean? They just had an announcement the other day. He's like, oh.
Yeah, 1.6 is coming. He says it's not going to be much.
I don't think he can stop working on this game. I don't know if he has the physical ability to stop himself from working on this game.
I mean, he'd have to run out of ideas, and he's never going to run out of ideas.
He even started working with the modding community to help them make their mods better because he can't help himself but work on this game, even though he's got another game to work on.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Apparently 1.6 is mostly to help with modding, apparently. I'm not sure how, but...
Yeah. I'm sure it is, because he's been doing a lot of stuff with the mod communities and stuff. Even the last update was kind of like to help with mods, and also the higher resolution of full screen and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was like a light update.
You mean the last minor update?
Yeah, the last minor update. Yeah.
I mean, 1.5 was huge.
Yeah, 1.5 was huge. I'm not counting. Yeah, and this is another full update, 1.6. But I'm saying even the last time he touched the game, it was to help with modding. It was to help with like full screen resolution and stuff. And...
yeah, that was just bug fixes practically.
Yeah, but it was also a sign that we knew he couldn't stop touching the game.
Yeah, I saw an article that said that he's not even, ruling out a 1.7 potential.
Even though he kind of said he was going to stop touching it after 1.5.
Yeah.
What's kind of huge? The mind changes.
Did the ostriches come in at 1.5, or were they in there before that?
Don't remember.
I have ostriches on my farm now.
Listen, everything after like 2017 for Stardew just blends together to me. Like I cannot remember what things were updated in.
I know. I've got Leo in my town now. You know Leo?
Yeah.
Are you aware of Leo?
I am. I haven't been playing, but my brothers and stuff had been. Yeah. They kind of dropped it though because they just started playing Terraria, which is another fun game. I like Terraria. I don't know. I played it when they added more stuff back to it. I just don't know if I'd go back to it again, because I spent too many hours in it.
I was just going to say, if you befriend Leo enough, he actually moves in to a treehouse on there.
That's pretty cool.
On the mainland.
Yeah, I mean, the whole island thing is just pretty cool in general. I like that. That was a good addition to the game.
Indeed. I'm working on getting to the end game, because there is a way to sort of basically get it to roll the credits, essentially. I think you have to have a perfect farm. You have to get a 100% perfection, which is extremely expensive because you have to basically buy everything.
Yeah.
You have to buy the golden clock for 10 million. You have to buy all of the pillars, all of the transport pillars, which is a total of 3 million. It's taking me a while.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I probably should look up some strategies, because I feel like I'm only making like 30 to 50,000 a day, and I'm like, it's going to take me a while to get to 10 million.
Yeah.
Got to be faster to do it.
See, I would love to. I need to actually. get into a dedicated farm with other people that I only play with the other people, which would probably get me back into Stardew. But I just, aside from working on the stuff that I need to work on, I don't find myself having time to play anything, because I just found out I need to start playing PvP in Final Fantasy. Because I'm like, oh man, I can't get any more Chocobo stuff from my apartment. And guess what? I found out half of all that stuff is locked behind PvP. I'm like, oh great, so now I have to become a PvP player. Okay.
Oh, you know who's a great Final Fantasy 14 YouTuber?
Who?
I mentioned her on Twitter. Lucy Pyre.
I watched Lucy
Pyre.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, you said that thing about tanking, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. She has a new video about ERP, basically.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Calling everyone degenerates, but like almost backhandedly, because she herself is a degenerate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good YouTuber. I highly recommend.
Yeah. It's funny. She showed like all the different races of just girls, and she was like, they're clearly catering to every fetish imaginable. Except she didn't show any Lalafell. She was like, except the Lalafell. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's the most important race. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Although
she did show
Lalafells.
Yeah, she did show the other ones. The what are the other short ones?
The other short ones.
The other short race.
Lalafell is like the only short race.
Really? Maybe she did show
the range. You can get fairly short with like the Aura can get kind of small, which is the tiefling race.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Right. A lot of people like to call them dragons, but they're not.
Is there Taru in the game?
Well, no, the Lalafell is the replacement for the Taru.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they're not in Final Fantasy 14.
No.
I guess she did show a Lalafell, but she didn't. She said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that, though.
Yeah. No, she showed the Lalafell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the races in 14 are, the starting ones anyway, are kind of like parallels to the ones in 11, but not exactly the same. So like instead of the traditional Hume, which is what you're used to them calling humans in Final Fantasy, they have the higher.
Yeah.
Instead of the Galka, which were the big sloth people, they have the Rogadin. Instead of the Taru, they have Lalafells. Instead of the it was the Elvon. Now they have the Elazin, which is still just the elf race. And the cat girls from 11, they brought in, but they didn't make them just cat girls this time. They have cat boys as well.
Right.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, they have bunny boys, because they, with Shadowbringers, they brought in the Viera. And then they're like, cool. You know what we're going to bring in with Endwalker? Male Viera that have never been seen in Final Fantasy before. And disappointingly, they're not jacked basketball players, which is what we were expecting Viera to be just from the lore. No, they're femboys that the tallest they can get is 2 inches shorter than the female Vieras.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on average, they're slightly shorter. But almost indistinguishable. Honestly, if you weren't really paying attention, they just look like flat-chested Viera. That's it. They look like the female, but without the assets.
Yep. Well, anyone who doesn't know, I highly recommend watching Lucy Pyre if you want to be. She's very funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
Very human. And apparently a tank. Apparently she plays
That's
a tank.
not her main.
Or not.
She was saying
That's
how
not
to
her
tank. She does tank and stuff, but she's a long-time player, so everybody plays every role. Scholar, I think, is her current main, so she's a healer. I think she also plays dancer as well. Yeah, but who doesn't play Dancer. All the cringy people play Dancer. That's just what they do. They used to play Bard, and then they gave up Bard immediately to play Dancer. Or for some reason, every person who drops White Mage and goes to DPS goes to Dancer. And it's probably because Dancer has like the easiest rotation in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry to the folks in the chat who probably.
They're probably
probably
minutes behind. Yeah.
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 But, oh well, hopefully we'll have better bandwidth next time.
Hopefully, yeah. Unfortunately, every single person was just like home today, and a couple people can be a little hoggier with bandwidth than others. So yeah. But I don't know. Maybe next time if I do a speed test and it seems just as bad, I'll just tell you to host it from your end.
Yeah, yeah. If there's enough time and it's going to be bad, if there's enough time before the show.
Yeah. I did a speed test too, and I was getting like 1.5 megs. I'm like, should I try? I don't know.
Oh well. I chatted to them saying they're probably behind. That's why we haven't been able to interact, because they're talking about games that we talked about like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know.
So sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you catch this, I'm probably going to leave it streaming long enough at the end that if you're behind, you will see the spot. It won't get cut off. Thanks for watching. We made it to the end of the show. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who likes it. We will probably have better bandwidth going forward. And if you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. It really helps out. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
See ya.